Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first Agentforce plus MuleSoft video featuring our amazing MuleSoft ambassadors. To kick off this new video series, I am joined by the wonderful Aravind, who has been a MuleSoft ambassador for a few years now. And Aravind, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. This is Aravind here. Thank you so much, Sabrina. And then, I really like and enjoy working with you all folks in the community. And I recently started on a new assignment and then been doing MuleSoft for like more than 8 years now. And then I've been in integration space for like more than 15 years. I lead 2 meetups, like one in Charlotte and then the other one is Milwaukee. You will be seeing a lot of action in those 2 meetups, this year. That's about me in a nutshell. And then you guys can reach out to me, get connected with me on my LinkedIn, and then please feel free to reach out for any help you need in terms of anything, in terms of knowledge, you want to know anything about MuleSoft or Agentforce or anything else. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's a perfect segue. So what I love to hear from our various ambassadors is what really excites you about the future of Agentforce and MuleSoft?
So Agentforce, bring in a lot of AI flavor into the mix. And then, I was able to envision or this is a thought which came into my mind when I talk about agents. And then agents are like APIs, right? Each agent is like basically meant to do a particular function. Like we have an agent, a API-led network. I was able to imagine agents talking to each other internally and to the other agents, so, and then you can have the same kind of connectivity like you had with API-led connectivity. Possibly, this would lead to something like a agent-led connectivity, or agents talking to each other, and then agents forming a network to kind of accomplish a gamut of tasks, and then solving problems for particular certain domains, like say healthcare or retail or whatnot, right? So.
Great. Yeah, I think there's definitely a huge future for Agentforce and the many applications that MuleSoft can allow Agentforce to extend to. One question, I know that Agentforce is pretty new, and so folks are just getting onboarded, but how have you used Agentforce so far?
I haven't used Agentforce per se, but then I has always been seeing and learning about how AI can be blended into MuleSoft, and then how AI can help to kind of in your development, or I've actually given 2 talks in 2 different conferences. One was at Salesforce Days, where I actually talked about how AI will enhance the development capability for developers and then architects. That was one talk which I delivered for Salesforce Days in New York. And the other one is how AI will help basically taking the monitoring and management of different APIs and infrastructure to a next level. So that was another talk which I gave it in 2022 in one of the conferences at API Days. So
awesome.
AI has been always part of my thought, and then been doing some kind of learning, research, and things like that. And then when I heard about Agentforce, I really got excited. And then the community also came up with in MuleSoft AI chain project, where you can bring in your own LLM and then fit it in there, and then do various kinds of jobs. And that's phenomenal, actually. And then I'm glad that we are heading it in a right direction. And then by 2030 we will see more of a agentic architecture, or agent-based architecture everywhere going forward. So yeah.
Great. Yeah. And I love that looking forward because, we're just getting started. There's so many different agents that are still to be built,
Yep.
which is a fun question I have for you, which is if you could build any agent with Agentforce and MuleSoft, what would it be and why?
I would do something related to sports science and exercise and then healthcare. The reason why I choose that solution is we need a robust solution where it integrates your workouts, your health, your food intake, and based on all of the data. I mean, looking at your medical reports and all of that, how you get suggestions from your AI, and then you can discuss those with your doctor. I mean, a lot of people are doing a lot of solutions, but then this could be like somebody, I mean, it will be a kind of a buddy, a companion, or a friend, or your coach. I mean, who would basically tell you what to do and what not to do, and then how you shape your health. That's one solution I really want to kind of think about and then solve for using Agentforce and AI.
Great. And I know you mentioned this a little bit before about, as we build agents, we're going to come into this future of agentic architectures and what that's going to look like. So how do you see MuleSoft really playing a role in the future of these agentic architectures that businesses will build?
So, I mean, basically you can call, I mean, somebody built an AI solution, and then now you want to kind of say, search something, you can use NLP, and then you can invoke an NLP API or NLP connector, or a speech to text connector. And then you say that hey, you know what, I'm looking for this one. And then it takes your speech in, and then you don't need to type in or it could be I mean, it's all APIs, right? At the end of the day, everything will be getting exposed as an API. And then underlying the way it connects, it may be connecting to a LLM, or it may be connecting to something else, or a large data source, or whatever it is, right? And then you build analytics on top of that, and then things like that. And then you can basically query and then ask those questions. And you can also introduce vision, hey, you know what would be the next stage of how does a person look after 4 years or something like that. And everything is an API. And then I mean, sorry, I'm not able to express it right, but then what I mean to say is to answer this question, it could be used in gamut of solutions. When once you build those AI based APIs, each has its own unique identity, and then everything can be converted to an API. I mean, essentially all your programs are written in Python or something like that. And then you can actually build a REST interface to that one, and then expose it as an API. And then essentially AI and APIs are all basically working in unison.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that what's great is that it's still so visionary. And so there's so much that can really be created and happen over the next few years, especially as we're expanding and introducing more APIs and more agents. And that kind of leads me to my final question, which is, what are some future use cases you'd love to see for Agentforce and MuleSoft working together?
There are so many. I mean, in fact, I mean, I talked about healthcare. There are various things you can do with retail, basically a lot of solutions exist now. But then AI, by bringing in AI, you can get some cost optimizations, and then effective delivery of your product to you, and things like that. Even before, and basically lot of supply chain issues can be resolved using AI. I mean, because it can predict weather, it can predict so many things. taking all of those into consideration. I mean, how to unblock the traffic, or like, what would be an optimal route. And there is so much to work on, actually. I mean, like, we are just scratching the surface right now. I mean, is how I feel about, like, AI and uh, MuleSoft, whatever we are doing. And then and also one other thing is the health of the systems, which is very critical. Like, we don't, I mean, like, I was talking to someone, and then they told me about a use case, like, most oftentimes in your where you host your servers, and then, like, the, what do you call, the put your infrastructure and all of that, right? And then there are so many things which goes on into that, like, right. And then depending on the how your computer's temperatures are raising or like dropping, when you are doing more processing, the heat in the computer rises. I mean, when to stop the AC, when not to stop the AC. So many things. I mean, like, it's fascinating, like, how you can use AI, and then, like, make it, like, more friendly to the world, and then, like, the mankind. I mean, that's something is what I get fascinated whenever I read about AI or do something with AI.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I mean, there's an abundance of possibilities, which I think is what's so exciting about this tool. Well, thank you, Aravind, so much for joining us for our first ever session on Agentforce and MuleSoft. You
Yeah.
can find Aravind on LinkedIn, as well as at the Charlotte, North Carolina meetup group. And again, thank you so much for your time.